Hello and welcome to this 1v1 between Vanguard and some other person called WooHoo. Something you'll notice a little bit different here is that these are some quite low rated players. So that's fine. There are very many different ways to enjoy FAF and not all of it is at the higher level. And some people are also interested in trying to improve better, which Vanguard is trying to do. So he sent me this replay, trying to get some tips as to how to improve his playstyle. And hopefully WooHoo sees this too. But if you're interested in trying to improve your gameplay, feel free to send me some of your replays and we can go through them. So yeah, first things first, land factory. We're going to focus on the build order. That's probably the easiest thing you can improve as a new player. The build order is the first 2-3 minutes. There's a lot you can work on to improve to get better. That's probably the most important thing that you can focus on, is getting a good and right build order, and quite simply something you can practice. It doesn't really take skill, just practice and some effort. You don't have an opponent to mess around with you in the first few minutes. So one thing that you definitely want to avoid is walk into your mechs. Sorry to pick on you, Vanguard, but it's a big deal. This delays you a huge amount. You really always want to reduce walking a lot. If you play some of the overlays, you can see you can get some rings and they give you an indication of your build range. But if in doubt, always walk. You can use the M command to walk. I can't show you here because I'm watching the replay, but you walk like nearish, just a step here, and then you build the max. You really want to limit this walking. It's going to delay you a lot, and small delays at the start will cause chaos later on. So you can save a good few seconds just by walking, and unfortunately he's going to walk again right up to this max. And a simple move command, you just push M, left click, and then you order the max, gets to that max build. And tragically he's going to walk all the way to this max too. So there's a lot of time wasted here, which means there is a lot of time that you will be able to improve upon in the future. He's going to hydrocarbon first. The hydrocarbon is a bit far. It's fine. So the traditional build order is land factory, 4 mexes, and then hydrocarbon. To get that right, you normally have to spend your first 2 engineers and you command it with the hydrocarbon. That's what Vanguard is doing. WooHoo has gone P-gens first, which is fine. If the hydrocarbon is too far away, you don't want to go to hydrocarbon so fast, but on this map it's fine. On the high level, skill level players, they will actually live off the reclaim from these trees. If you manually select reclaim on the trees, you can get a ton of energy from them, and you can actually use them for your economy, but that is for much later. There's more important things for these players to focus on. Also worth noticing is that there's a ton of reclaim in these rocks. So we can look at his eco, reasonably well balanced, so no crises there. He has sent 2 raiding parties out, which is good form. You definitely want to keep that in practice, because these guys can pay huge dividends if they happen to catch an engineer. So knowing the basics, knowing what he should be doing, WooHoo has got some scouts out and he's got a Tham here. So also both on point with the raiding, so that's very good to see. Both of them got engineers going for the middle. WooHoo has taken all his reclaim, so he's in brilliant 540 mass. Vanguard less so, but that's okay. He's got the reclaim here if and when he wants to. Hopefully he will take advantage of it. Unfortunately, the raiding parties from Vanguard were dispatched without success, but that's okay. The more you practice it, the better you'll get it. The first few times you try something new, it will usually fail. The point is trying to figure out exactly what it is you got wrong to try and do better, and often it just takes practice and trying. So Vanguard went Air Factory second. I'm not excited about this plan, and built 1 scout, which is also not excited. So there's a wasted potential here to build things out of his factory. A bomber first. I'm just going to adjust the sound down. The bomber first could do a good job. And sending the scout without the bomber gives your opponent a clue what he's up to. And there's not that much information you can get from a scout this early in the game. If your opponent's playing the game right, he'll be just spamming T1. If he's not spamming T1, then you have the advantage, because not doing that's a big mistake. and here's an AA. It's not clear if that was a reaction. But if you have the bomber right behind the scout, then your opponent has much less time to react to it. You can get a better advantage. So Vaangard has moved his commander up toward factories. Again, the mech's adjacency, so that's good. You always, in this kind of a fight, you do want to put your land factories next to a mech like that to get the adjacency. The mechs means the factories, the adjacency bonus means the factories draw less mass mech units. So doing the right things. Let's see if WooHoo is doing the same thing. He's also going for the adjacency, so that's good to see. Setting his comm up to be aggressive. So sitting on a chunk of mass definitely means you need more engineers at this stage in the game. You need more engineers to build more land factories, to more power to support them, and also to reclaim these rocks. There's like 450 mass in just these rocks alone. You definitely want to get them. That's a big deal. You can imagine if those rocks were tanks, you'd be having a much better fight, a much better time in this fight. Oh, the shooting noises are loud, so let's turn them down. So in this kind of a fight, you don't want to lose your units against the comm. You'd rather trade your hit points on your comm to kill units. That's generally what you want to do. Unless you're going for a kill, there's not much to be done here. So this isn't. Yeah, so this is not great. It kind of feels like you're just throwing away some units for no result. There are some wreckages here, and on the kind of mass map like Finn's Revenge, these where you leave the wrecks are important, and who controls the wreck field is important. So if WooHoo is on his game, he'll stick around here and reclaim these wrecks and gain an advantage. And there's hundreds of mass in these wrecks, so it's a big deal. So he's done a patrol. Has done a patrol order. He's done a patrol order, so he will slowly get the wrecks. He'll get a bunch of undesirable trees in the meantime, but that'll give him the advantage. So Vaangard definitely wants to spend this mass. He wants to reclaim those rocks. Mentioned that a few times, but it's just so much mass that's in here. It's a big advantage here that you can get if you reclaim those. Okay, so going T2 maxes on a map like this, at a higher level you don't want to do it because it's more important to fight and almost entirely commit to T1 fighting phase. At a lower level, you can get away with it to go in T2. Building up your eco is never a bad idea. Well, sometimes it's a bad idea if you don't have enough army to defend yourself, which is typically the case at higher levels. But on a low level like this, especially if you're sitting with the mass in the bank, click a T1 max, upgrade it. So that's fine. What's less good here is, so your comm is only worth 2 T2 engineers. So having him produce when you've got such a large mass deficit is really wasting what his potential is. He's a really good fighting units actually. So if you keep him moving around the map trying to hit T1 units, you can get some work done. It's just nice to use from the bomber, taking out a PD. One of the easier ways to take out a PD is with the bomber, so that's pretty cool. The engineers should always be the priority target though, and there it is, because the devil hitting the engineer instead of the PD, so that's great. 1 kill so far. But if he takes out the PD, that's a nice job. It'll make his life easier if he comes down this way again. The DPS over time, just not enough. 42 hit points, so that's a shame. And you've got a T2 land factory out of WooHoo, so WooHoo's going to the T2 phase. He's got the naval phase. It's starting to look a little bit better for him. Scarily enough to say. Now would be a great time to actually get the gun upgrade on the comms. You've got a bit of idle time, a bit of downtime, and the gun upgrades on your comm in a map like this, because it's such close quarter fighting, is a huge deal. It will help a lot. It takes a lot of power. It's very power expensive to go for that upgrade, but it's definitely worth it. Especially if you've still got a lot of hit points on your comm. It's kind of a big impact. There's a lot of mass here that's not getting used, either by WooHoo or Vaangard. Send up a cheeky engineer to try and take some mass is often worth it. There's a raid coming down the left hand side. You've got a nice PD here that'll thwart much of the input. It also forces your opponent to build artillery, and if they don't bring artillery, that completely stump his attack. We do have some naval coming up from WooHoo as well. I don't quite know how I feel about it. I think it's a better time if that was in land units. The frigate might be able to get some damage done. That being said, if you can get a destroyer out on this map, it's basically going to win you the game. The destroyer sitting at the back of the enemy's base over here just can range and basically destroy everything. The trick is getting the eco to build the destroyer is usually just... it should be impossible actually. But if you can get away with it, it's a lot of fun. So again, Ilshavers, and that is bad news bears. Ilshavers will basically wreck everything Vaangard has. So it's looking very, very bad for Vaangard. Now I'll just speed the game up a little bit. So yeah, the T2 mexes, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it. If you've got the mass, spend it. If you're going for your long game or your opponent's being passive, then maybe it's not a terrible idea. But you generally expect a map like Finn's Revenge to be close quarter fighting. You don't really expect this map to go beyond much of the T1 phase. So there's a push up Vaangard into WooHoo. I don't like this push. Going against his comp just means he's going to die, and you're going to give him mass to use. Maybe Vaangard's feeling a little bit pressured at this point, so a little scared. So this WooHoo, yeah, okay, cool. He's supposed to energy storage, so you can overcharge. Vaangard has not done so. So you can get a lot of value from overcharge, especially the Ilshaver. Especially the Ilshaver. That's one way to deal with him is overcharge, especially if there are a few units. But this Ilshaver should not be underestimated. They are tough as nails. And they will cost effectively basically destroy everything you can pump out until you start reaching by Percival's. So overcharge is one of the more effective ways you can deal with them. What is Vaangard's eco situation like? He's got positive eco. Not a huge amount, so perfect opportunity to overcharge. So maybe try and incorporate an energy storage into your build that will help you in such situations. T1 PD also definitely helps a lot, but Ilshaver still can kind of struggle with that PDA. Although not that time. Oof, both died. So yeah, more mass deposits back and forth. So I think that's something both players can try and be more cognizant of, is failed attacks actually help your opponents quite a lot because they give him the reclaim. Yeah, that was a good push. Just a mass deposit there for WooHoo, I'm afraid. So they're kind of taking turns to give each other mass. So that's very gentlemanly of both of them. So I suppose we should talk. What should they be doing? With the mass that Vaangard has, I think he should be building more units. I think gun upgrade on his comm at this point is critical because Ilshavers are out and overcharge is probably the best way you can deal with them. You don't want to PD up on this map because there's so many options to deal with them. He didn't take these rocks, which sets him back a lot. There's a lot of reclaim on his side of the map, which you can still be getting. So yeah, APM is a real issue, and it takes time to figure out exactly how best to spend your APM and what's important and what you can let slide. WooHoo has brought artillery, so if he is given the opportunity, he will be able to take out the PD, but it's not clear if that's going to go. Vaangard's going bomber, I don't know to say heavily, but I don't think he's getting value out of these bombers. In his situation, pillars is probably the better option that he needs to go for. He's using his comm aggressively. He still hasn't got his energy storage yet. He needs it. At the meantime, he's been allowed to trade with the Ilshaver. So I think WooHoo definitely has map control now. He might be taking out some T2 maxes. He's definitely in the controlling seat of this game. He has a lot of options as to what to do next. He even took the effort to take these side islands. So there is a PD. This one has been unmolested. How did he do it? I think I saw him send one artillery piece, or maybe I'm not quite sure how he did it actually, but normally just trying to deal with the defenses here is usually too much of a chore, and usually the fighting is too intense, so players often don't bother with it. Okay, we do have pillars out now, so that's good to see. Where's the T2 land factory? It's over here. And we do have some triads coming down. That's the UEF T2 PD. I don't quite know how I feel about it. It's kind of like you're resigning yourself on a map like this if you have to bunker down in this corner of the map. So the Sparky is attacking this particular patch of ground because of reasons. Like, fuck this piece of ground in particular. There has to be a misclick from Vaangard, surely. That's the Sparky, that's the combat engineer. Maybe try to attack move for reclaim, who knows, or just assist. But instead, because as a gun, I suppose it's shooting. So losing this part of the map as well. Vaangard gets a regen aura in his comm. This gives his units more hit points and regen, and is particularly effective against, with Ilshova. Even at high level, the regen aura, especially the advanced regen aura, does massive things to what you can get out of Ilshova. So much mass here, so much mass, so that you really want to control this area here. And I must be honest, this is looking very, very grim for Mr. Vaangard. Very grim indeed. Just kind of patiently waiting for WooHoo to dismantle his base over here. Some gentle renovations are occurring. In real estate, this is what you call a renovator's dream. Nothing particularly of value to work with. So we've got the regen aura on WooHoo. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So this, the maximum hit points actually changes. I don't know if you saw that on the screen. I was able to tell. The hit points of the units actually change depending on whether they come in range of the comm or not. So the forces are massing on Vaangard's base. He is heavily bunkered down on triads, so a land assault is not recommended. There are a few easy ways for WooHoo to finish this, to win this game. I don't know why he's taunting his opponent. Some submarines are coming down here to make the water not safe for his comm to presumably fly into. The easiest ways to win this is to bring a destroyer, or even just build T2RT out of range. You have more eco. It's kind of impossible for the opponent to deal with anything like that with that kind of eco. It's looking very, very grim. Vaangard holding off the assault, and WooHoo is taking triads to the face. So the triads are doing work. Vaangard's kind of charging onto WooHoo, and WooHoo definitely seems like he has misplayed or misjudged the situation. He is taking shots to the back now, and it looks like it's going to be all over for WooHoo. So very nicely played to both players. It was a good match, especially for players rated in the mid 400s. Very well played. Quite competitive. Both players were pushing forward aggressively. WooHoo unfortunately did throw the game at the end. There were a number of ways you could have easily won it. The easiest ways to do it would have been to bring a destroyer along, or T2RD. You could even try to dismantle what you had with TML, or even T2 Air. Or if you really wanted to, you could have gone T3 Air, just by virtue of him controlling the whole map. If he was just patient, he could have won the game. I didn't check if he didn't realize he was walking into 3 triads. 3 triads, hey, that's 3 by 3. But he did. And Vaangard won, and a win is a win. So congratulations to him. And yeah, playing 1v1s, a lot of people do find it very stressful. So definitely congratulate worthy even just trying to play 1v1s. A lot of people get scared out of it. So yeah. Thank you for sending that through, and if anybody does have any other replays they want me to go over, I'm very, very happy to do that. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay.